Come on, where's the preview on this thing? Ah, so go live. We're going live. We're apparently live. Oh well. Just have to see how it goes. Oh, and we are actually alive. Hello, Mr. Rob Clark. I'm just trying out the new YouTube live interface. It's a bit different to the traditional classic one, and I'm worried I've probably messed up a few things. James Halter, 7 a.m. in Minnesota, and the Crazy J. Alright, let's see what we got. Get this keyboard out of here, which I'll probably conveniently forget later. What have we got? Hey Vogon, XUM, never heard of you before. ID Warp, and Links Repair, and Pernov. Well, that's it. I think we've got enough people here. Alright, we've got a bit of a collection from eBay. Just going to move my screen across so I don't look like a weirdo. Alright, so yeah, we've got some boards here that I just picked up from eBay. They're supposedly never had work done to them before. They've got some level of damage, or they don't work to some degree. So let's see if I can fix them up, and at least then they'll be usable boards for maybe if I get a job that comes in I just can't fix a board, so like maybe the PCH blows up or something like that, then I can give a customer one of these instead. So this 3437, 3437, and Paul doesn't know what this one is. Paul doesn't know his numbers well enough. 3536. I've not done work on a 3536 before. Oh well. Guess there's always a first time. Hey, Mark Weinberg, UK. Let's see. Whenever you mess up, it won't be half as bad as Lewis. Ooh, harsh. Fights are already on. Hey, Chris Gall. Lip sync is off already. Damn. That's a real nuisance at the... Let's see. So, let's see. Sync is out. Can't believe the sync is out. I barely even started the stream. It shouldn't be this bad. See if I can go into the audio. I don't even know how to make it better. State of Delaware in the US. Okay, I just changed something. I don't know if it's going to make things any better. So, any experts on Open Broadcaster know how to fix up the audio sync, or is that just my life's just going to suck? A full second off, if not more brutal. Okay, what can I do? What can I do? Alright, I'll try stop the stream and I'll restart. Sorry. Alright, are we all still with me? I think we are. Just scratch my nose. Alright. So here we go. Otherwise, we'll just have to leave it off my face and just stick with what's important, which of course is the boards. Let's see. We'll start with the pink sticker one. Why not? I don't even know what's wrong with them. So I guess I'll just plug it in, see if I can come up with anything. Alright. This thing seems to be okay. Good. Alright. Okie doke. Well, we've got a red dot, so that might mean we've had a liquid, or it could just be random red dot. We've got another red dot, so I'm just going over this to see if anything jumps out at me and says, "Hi Paul, I'm most likely your fault." At least with the 3437s I do have suitable chassis to test it in. What's this? Spins and no power, 2013. Spins and no power. Alright, that could be bias clock area. Could be PCH switch. Could be the mux. Could be an exploded PCH. Nah, I suppose the first thing I should do is actually see if the PCH is okay. Oh, don't tell me I've got autofocus on. God damn it. I don't even know if I've got the right camera yet, but I guess we'll see. Yep, I've got the right camera and we'll zoom in. Okay. Chris Gorvin, I check in on the Linux Open Broadcaster. I don't see that thing, so yeah, well. Anyway, yeah, it'd be nice if they had it synced. You would have thought with keyframes that it would be, but I guess because the audio is coming in from a different source to the video, that could be the problem. I've put a fan and a DCM board. Naturally, I don't seem to have a cable, the 1722 cable. Where are you guys? You're hiding. Let's see. Are you hidden under there? Yes, you are. And I've got a lot more of these boards coming. So this is a new one. It hasn't even had the sticker taken off. We've got another 6 or so of these heading in the mail. So it'll be interesting. I figure if I can get at least 2 to work, then I'll be ahead. And if I don't, well, I guess I'll just have to suffer the consequences. At least I'll get some donor boards. Goodness knows you could never seem to have enough 3437 or 165 donors. It says 16.5 volts. See if how we go. Instant green light, fan spin. Yeah, that's bad news. So that didn't stop for the fan spin. On the 30... Oh, now you completely stopped. I turned away. Oh, that behavior is completely wrong. Hey, zero effect. These boards I picked up for fairly cheap, to be honest. Around about 50 odd Australian dollars, which is quite cheap for a potentially working board. Yeah, that shutdown behavior pattern is not good. Let's try the other one. This one got damaged in the mail, which I'm not happy about. You can see this bend here. What happened, it was in a package, just a bubble wrap package, and it must have got crushed from this end. So anyway, the person who sent it, they won't be doing it that way again. I was polite about it. I just said, you know, it'd be nice if it could be in a box in future. Alright, this one actually probably has more hope. We've got 60 milliamps being drawn. No activity on the MagSafe. Hey Eric, congratulations on your first. Let's scratch my nose again. Always got to scratch my nose. Let's get this heatsink off and see whether we're dealing with a dead PCH. I like to do this first because I have in the past spent far too long trying to diagnose a board that just had a dead PCH. And the people who had been through this before laughed at me, and I didn't want to be laughed at again. Is that a crack? Please don't be a crack. You're a frickin' crack, aren't you? It's hard to say. Is that a crack? Or is that just a weird line? $34, $37. Okay, we might be lucky. It might have been just a weird line. The 165 seemed to suffer it more. Okay, but what is this? It could just be a scratch. It certainly doesn't seem like a normal PCH crack. Hey, Thomas Traeger. So you're the one outbidding me on these boards. Nicholas, were you in Australia and trying to get these boards too? I think it's probably not me outbidding you, I'd say. I get outbid all the time. I set very low bids on mine. Very low bids indeed. Hey, MacBook Repair. Hey, Stan RA. Yeah, I set very low bids because I really don't want to invest a lot of money into something that is most likely going to be a donor. And I'm merely waiting on the opportunity that someone... sometimes you just get lucky and no one remembers to bid on a particular board, and then you pick it up for a decent price. Some of the prices are ludicrous on there, especially for what they're offering. Ever since MacBook Repair has become a bit of a gold mine, it's certainly sent the price up a lot. Have you done PCB repairs for graphics cards? No, I haven't. No. Yeah, Mark. Oh, I just had a heart sink here. Okay, the reason why I'm having a heart sink here now is, see this sticker? This has probably had the number 639 or something on it. It's all been washed off now, which means this is a Apple refurbed board, most likely. I see we've got corrosion damage here now, all around here. So yeah, this is an Apple refurb board, one that they've put into a machine. We've definitely had liquid damage around here. See, that's corroded up there and there. This is Thunderbolt area. Oh yeah, we've had a full... What? Why am I only seeing this now? RAM's even been hit. Under here looks problematic. We'll get that off. About 9 months ago, Mike, I was able to get decent deals on complete machines that were damaged, but now people are wanting $200 or more, even for cracked screen. If it's got a cracked screen, I'll just walk away. There's just no point. Okay, more liquid damage. See, the other problem with these boards is they've been washed, so you can't be absolutely sure. I think I'll do this one second. We'll do the no mag safe one first. Alright, so we've got absolutely nothing on no mag safe. So we've got SSMC or bad 3v42 section. Looks like we've had some action around the 3v42. Yeah, this has definitely been scrub clean. Not well, but it has been. Check the SMC area. You're probably all getting a bit dizzy there. The SMC area looks like it's been reflowed. There seems to be some sort of fluxy stuff there. Looks like there was corrosion there. Backlight ball's okay. I'm going to take the heatsink off this one because it's bent and it's making it very hard to sit down flat. AITC Extreme. Most broken machines here have been cannibalized before getting there. Only ever buy them as donors. Yeah, that's essentially it. If you're going to buy them, expect them to be donors. And if you do get a win, like a working or almost working type one, then yeah, I mean, just take it as a win. But otherwise, expect the worst from them all. That's been definitely knocked off. That's a dreadful bend in that. What else is going on here? Oh, you've been bent up. PCH is fine on that. Alright, let's see if we can get some voltage in this. Well, things are being quite insane. They're going to get even more insane in the next couple of weeks, next 2 weeks. I still haven't finished or even started on my fencing. I've also now got to build a patio and yeah, a few other things. It's getting crazy. Sort of getting to the point where I think I'm just going to lose my head. I hope I don't, but you know, when you're not filthy rich, these are the things that you end up having to deal with. Alright, let's see if we've got 3v42. I do not have my multimeter on. That's better. Yeah, we don't have 3v42. Alright. Do we have a short? Yeah, we do. Did I lose all my chat? No. Alright, so I've got a short on 3v42 somewhere. That could be a few million things. Could be one of many things. Let's get that bit of plastic off. If we're lucky, it could just be one of these caps. Filthy Rich is Lewis or Tim? Well, I'm not even close to either of those. Those two are both far more successful than I am. I'm too much of a poor starving artist type person. I was the one that got suckered into the whole do what you love and you will be successful load of absolute bollocks. It's a lie, folks. Don't go for it. Absolute lie. Let's see which side this fault is on. Sometimes we're really lucky it's just the regulator on these, or the cap. So I'll just take off this inductor and we'll see which side it's sitting on. It helps if we go to MacBook speed in air. Oh, believe me, don't come asking me for what might make money, because I sure don't know. I mean, here I am approaching 50 and I'm still... yeah. Okay, we're lucky it's on this side. At least I think we're lucky. I get confused sometimes. What would your recommendation be for a successful life plan? Don't ask me. I don't know. Really, don't ask me. I thought for a while there that I might have had ideas, but it was just lies and false hope. Ah, damn it. It is on the wrong side. It's on the output side. Alrighty. So... well, we've only got all these possible damn places that 3v42 could be cooking up. Gee, I wonder which one it could be. Oh, no idea. What a pain. Let's be dirty. And let's put a couple of volts in and just hope it pokes its head up out of the board. Which means I have to get a couple of pieces of wire. Normally I've got wire around the place, but it just seems like... let's see. Okay, I've got my positive wire here. Yeah, I'd say people who say that money isn't everything are people who have money. Because believe me, when you don't have money, life is so much more hellish. I mean... yeah, it's another one of those lies. It's one of those lies that keep people from striving. It's like, I mean, if you're a rich person and you're trying to keep all the money to yourself, why would you tell people that money is everything? Yeah, you're going to tell people that, hey, don't worry about money, man. It's not necessary. Just let me look after your money. It's only going to bring you sorrow. Sorrow and despair, so I'll take that off you, and then you can pay me a fee for being so good to do that for you. Yeah, I know it sounds cynical, but I'm sorry, it's pretty much the truth. Money is the root of all evil. Someone's a Futurama fan. I applaud Futurama fans. What do you think of the 2019 election? Oh my goodness. Yeah, you're talking about the Australian one. Yeah, that was a bit of a wake-up call. It's going to be very curious to see what happens. I can only hope that private enterprise actually does step up and deliver the goods. Because otherwise we're going to be in strife. I mean, I'm still hurting pretty bad from the whole NBN network fiasco. That I cannot believe. Well, I can believe. That's the horrible thing. Oops. Come on. Back it up. Back it up. There we go. Yeah, money can give you comfort and options. It won't stop you from dying, but it can sure make dying a lot easier. Or a lot more comfortable. I mean, right now, I am trying to, other than trying to find a piece of wire. Come on. Where's my ground wire? Wire, where are you, wire? I had it earlier today. I was just cleaning up my workshop like an idiot. And I put this wire somewhere. Yeah, I'm in a situation where I could really do with about, even just a $100,000 loan from the bank. And with the way the markets are at the moment, the bank's not giving out anyone any money. And this is in spite of the fact that I've got no troubles with servicing the loan. It's just getting a loan. Like in this particular locality, the banks have a bit of a blanket ban on housing loans, unless you have something like 30% down. And it's like, there's no way I've got 30% down on 100,000. If I had 30,000, I probably wouldn't be in this situation in the first place. Anyway, I'm just waffling and complaining about things that are ultimately my own fault. Sometimes in life you make bad decisions, or you make decisions that prioritize things differently to what you might normally prioritize if, say, you were single, or sometimes things have to be done in a way that financially aren't for the best, but you have to do it for other reasons. Clyde Palmer solution to the ambient. Is computer repair your daily gig? Brian, it is. I mean, it varies in terms of the sense of depends on what comes in for the day. I mean, sometimes I fix iPhones, sometimes I just do general IT repairs like, Windows machines. Sometimes I do board repairs, sometimes I do hard drive recoveries. Sometimes I do programming. I don't really have the great option right now to be overly picky and choosy. So I cover myself for as much as I can. Okay, so this is we're going to start out with 1 volt. Okay, 1.7 that'll do. And we're going to give the option of full 5 amps. Okay. Now 100,000 would actually get me a chance to buy a property that's next to me. It's a very rare chance for me to actually capitalize on an opportunity. And I think that's the other thing with being poor or not sufficiently wealthy, is that you miss out on the opportunities that would actually improve your wealth. It's kind of like if you see something on special that you use a particular consumable and you use it all the time, and an opportunity comes for you to buy it at half price, but you don't have the money to buy it at half price. So instead you've got to still keep paying full price most of the time, and so you don't get to save money. Whereas if you were able to buy a bulk lot, then you would have got ahead. But the lack of money creates a situation where you lack money. Anyway, I'm whining. I've got to turn this on and see what we're going to get. On 1.7, 600, okay. We've basically got a 1.5 watt consumption here. It's not a lot. So 1.7, I might increase that voltage. Alright, now we're talking. So we're putting out about 3 watts. Should I just turn that off? No need for the daughter card stuff. It's kind of frustrating to me, this whole situation, because when I came back from overseas, I was in a very good financial position. And then I sort of helped a few people out, and that didn't work out. And then I fell in love and got married and all that, and that changes your priorities on things. It takes money to make money. Exactly, Sonia, yeah. Oh, Brian, sorry mate, I didn't see it. It didn't pop up at all for some reason. Okay, I'm going to do the close to the lip method here. You can all see my balding head. Waiting for something to burn me. Yeah, I'm feeling something burning. Wow, yeah, there you're around here somewhere. Somewhere down here. Let's get the alcohol out. And let's get drunk. Yeah, it's dead in the SMC. Alright. The question is it the SMC that's actually at fault? Or something that the SMC is powering? Do you use freeze spray? No, not on these boards very much. The main reason being is that the boards are massive compared to, say, an iPhone. And so you need a huge amount of freeze spray. And then, of course, I am in the tropics, which means you pretty much need a whole can of freeze spray just to get it started. Government-sponsored mobsters. What do you mean? Who are you referring to on that? Raphael, the reason why you can't use a security camera infrared is because that's short infrared, whereas the infrared that you want for this sort of stuff is long infrared. Short infrared, you can almost see it. Well, at least the edge bonding's coming off nice and clean on this. And anyway, since I was able to put about 2-3 watts of power into this, it was a matter of time before I was able to locate it with my fingertips. Given that there was a bit of junk under this SMC and it looked like someone had already reflowed it, I guess it should have been my first, how could you say, first assumption. Brian, it's just edge bonding. It's used to stabilize the chip against vibration so that the load is taken by, in theory, taken by those edge bonding things rather than always on the balls. It doesn't do anything for vibration stuff now. Yeah, I don't think this is just don't scratch it, Paul. One thing I found is I think if you scratch the top of SMCs, it kills them. At least I'm pretty damn sure it does. For iPhones, I definitely go, I support the freeze spray option. The big reason freeze spray is so good for iPhones is because it will pinpoint the part, and with your fingerprint, your finger detection method on the iPhone, it's just so hard to pinpoint. I mean, a typical human fingerprint probably covers a good 100 parts on the iPhones. Shock absorbers, yeah, that's a pretty good term to use, ZX. Do I have any favourite YouTube channels? I like Cody's Lab. I also watch Scott Manley, I think, for space flight stuff, where he's got that gravelly European type voice, I think, so I can fly safe. Anyway, I can't do him. I'm not very good at imitations. Who else? Alex Steele with the blacksmithing. And you're right, none of those are anything to do with really electronics. So I like watching them because there's something different. Gets me away from what I do every day. Hey Ed 2677, or just Ed. Brian, if someone came to you and said, Paul, I'd like to start my own computer repair business, what would you tell them? Yeah, good question. That's a little tricky to answer. I think part of the problem is, I think you probably want to be the person who would automatically fall into it rather than planning it per se. Alright. Yeah, I'm really not good on the advice situation. Mostly because I reflect back on what I've done and the choices I've made, and I'm not happy with how things have worked out. Currently I'm in the situation where I'll be losing half this house because the people who actually own the house are coming back. So I'm very thankful that I get to stay here, but I do lose half the house. Yeah, and at my age I certainly had visions of things being quite a bit different, and it hasn't worked out like that. So yeah, I'm a little bit jaded by my own choices in life. I'm gonna try the 3V42 line again. Just got it plugged in there. And let's see. Alright, the short's definitely gone now. So I guess we'll just put a different SMC on that. And that should solve the problem. And this being a 3437, I do actually, for a change, have some. Come on, off you get. Good. There we go. What's the problem with planning it? Startup costs? I think the problem is that trying to just jump into it, like say you've got 30,000 or whatever to spend on it, then you're probably going to spend most of that getting started. And I suppose the question is, do you already have the expertise to do the job? Are you going to hire someone to do it? I mean, if you're just going to be a manager of it and hire people to do it, then maybe they'll work out. So I really don't know. I'd say Lewis is definitely a far superior person to be asking that sort of question to. Of course, you can take his philosophy, which is the best way to get started is just start. And there's a lot of legitimacy to that in so many things in life. I think one big problem with computer repairs and such is just the saturation of the market too. A lot of existing players who have been at it for a long time are certainly feeling the pressure with all the new upstarts. And it's not so much that the existing people aren't capable of being competitive, it's just that the market is focusing on different aspects of sales pitches. So as a consequence, the existing players kind of get shoved out of the market a fair bit until the market starts to realise that there was a reason why the existing players were there. Alright, let's get ourselves an SMC. Well, I mean, yeah, 30 grand's probably a high value, but I think by the time you get all the equipment, the building, depending on where you are too in the world, I'm talking Australian dollars there, so let's call it 20,000 US. Okay, I'm just getting my 3437. I mean, you can say what you like about Lewis, but yeah, the guy is the proof is in the pudding with Lewis's business. He's very successful. So I'd sooner listen to him than me. Like I said before, I'm too much of the starving artist type person. Too much of a passion person, too much emotion involved in what I do. And it's cost me dearly. When people sort of say, oh, be nice to your customers, be ethical, all that sort of thing. After a couple of decades, you start to realise that it's just not that easy. It isn't that straightforward. You can't just be nice and succeed. There's too many other pressures that will squash your niceness. Also, with the getting started thing, I was thinking in a proper business, building, rented, insurance, all that sort of thing. A walk-in type scenario. If you're doing it from your basement, your home or whatever, then you can probably get away with it for $5,000 and start out with a limited set of services, assuming you do know what you're doing. Man, I can't believe I'm doing an SMC. I was not expecting to do an SMC. Lewis is definitely mature. Well, I'll certainly say, in terms of business, he's got a damn good head on his shoulders. He knows his stuff. He knows how to do things right. I need my jigs. There's one messy SMC. So like right now, there's a tool I want to get to help me work on these SMCs much easier. And here I'm sitting here trying to work out how to budget to buy that tool, and it's not even an expensive tool. It's barely over $1,000. And these are the times when I really just hate the way that I do, the way things are. Because I'm like, well, if you were better at business, that would be available in your budget, and you can just go out and get one. But no. Oh, the Aussie Geek. Thank you very much, good sir. Whereabouts in Australia are you, Aussie Geek? What degree did I do? I actually did 2, but I didn't finish them. I did computer systems engineering, which is basically working with things like embedded systems, hardware and software. And when I was sort of getting into the situation where I couldn't really keep up with the requirements due to other factors, so I went down in my standards and started doing computer science. Now I know that sounds a little bit cruel, but computer science was a little less taxing in terms of the money, because it was predominantly theoretical, predominantly math. It was back when computer science meant things like algorithms and math and a little bit of programming, just so you could practice those algorithms, as opposed to what it turned into, which was a whole lot of crap. So the thing is, when you go to university, you're not really going there for practical things. Yeah, if you want to do practical learning, such as how to use Word or how to program or stuff like that, then you're actually better off doing something like TAFE here in Australia, something that's applied. University really should be more research and theoretical, all that sort of thing. It's always SMC on the Paul Daniels channel. Unfortunately, you're probably about right on that lately. Sydney. Oh, right. Cool. Let's see. Did I write Flex Board View? Surely that's a cash cow. Brian, yes, I did write Flex Board View. Fork off from Open Board View, which a few other people have done work on, including Pernov, who's also in this chat, I think. Pernov, if you're in there, raise your hand, say hello. But yeah, I forked it off so that I could do the PDF integration, and I wouldn't call it a cash cow. It certainly has been very useful. It's brought in a bunch of money when I didn't have other options on hand, so I'm extremely thankful for that. But it's not a huge money spinner. I mean, it's only $79, and you sort of need a couple of sales a day to make that viable. I would say for a typical single person small business here in Australia, you probably want to be making around about at least $300 a day clean. Zero Effect, yes, CNC machine is what I'm after. Tunisia? Oh man, why do I know how to say that, but I can't say it for some reason. My brain's given up on me. I've got a lot of corroded, well not corroded, oxidized pads on this SMC for some reason. So try and fix those up. I tried blob soldering there for a bit, but they've been a bit reluctant. If it seems like I'm yelling a bit, it's because I'm trying to get over the fume hood. Aussie Geek has an associate diploma in IT after failing IT at uni. Yeah, exactly. TAFE. See, what I think happened was in the late 80s, the early 90s, too many people, everyone was bagging out TAFE. It was like, oh no, you know, only idiots go to TAFE or whatever. But because of that, we ended up with a culture where genuine practical skills were being missed because of that idiocracy. And we started to get universities flooded with people that really didn't want to be at university and really had a hard time understanding what they were doing there, in the sense of, well, why am I spending 4 years at university to try and learn how to just do a bit of programming or how to use MS Office or whatever. Yeah, there was this disconnect between the expectation versus what they were being put through. And so you end up with all these people with degrees, amazingly enough. I still marvel at the fact that people got degrees and I didn't, but I walked away. But because the social image around TAFE was tainted in that respect, it just made it really hard to get things back. So what the university started doing was offering courses that would do that sort of thing, learn how to do this or learn how to use this software or whatever. And that really, at least in my view, is not what universities should be about. This has been a difficult one. Why don't I fix ECUs and clusters? I think the problem really there is availability of information regarding them and the items themselves. I mean, at least with MacBooks, for as much of a pain as Apple is, at least we do have the information. You know, we've got the board views, we've got a lot of the community has a lot of information on how to repair these. Okay, now I've got to wash out this board a bit. Can I ask why you don't just use a stencil? I will be using a stencil. I'm just cleaning it first. Because if I don't clean the SMC properly first, then no matter what I do with the stencil, it's just not going to work. And I've got to clean all the flux off it. It still looks pretty gnarly. Yeah, the Aussie Geek, exactly. And yeah, because you come out of TAFE and right away you've got real world useful skills to offer to a potential employer. Whereas at a university you've got all these book skills or this book knowledge, which is very useful, but you're about as useful as a brick on the end of your toe. You know, you're completely useless, and you've got to spend another 4 years trying to get some practical skills. Alright, now I need this SMC stencil. So yeah, I think with the 80s and 90s, the whole university prestige type pitch, at least here in Australia, messed things up quite a lot. I mean, everyone was focusing on getting their TE scores back then. For those who lived through that period, they'll know what they are. And yeah, it was a big waste of a lot of people's time. It was fine if you were legitimately getting into those fields, into the engineering, science and whatnot, but for everything else it was just a big waste. And I've got trash on my stencil, come on. Sorry. No, it's still trash. Did you ever get a board with obvious corrosion, just replace corrosion without testing first? Yep, Brian, that's actually what I try to do on a regular basis. And I've got a bit of popcorning going on here. Just noticed it there. You see that popcorning? So I'm going to take a gamble and hopefully it's not too bad. And I must confess, I'm feeling lazy. I don't feel like I've got the hand steadiness tonight. So, lo and behold, I'm going to use tape to hold the stencil down. And this is why I want to get a milling machine so I can create a hold down jig so I don't have to have tape. Jealousy, well, hope you enjoy the stream. I can't believe I'm using tape. Lewis is gonna do something to me. So the way I would normally do it is I'll hold this down in the middle and then I'll apply paste all around. But I'm just not feeling it tonight. Dun, dun, dun. And the paste I ordered for this hasn't turned up yet, which is kind of annoying. Get off. When I do tape, I've found I only want 2 pieces. I'm usually good. You watch, just because you damn bastards have said 2 pieces now, more pieces I'm gonna end up needing. Oh, put the flip. Trying to find my spudger. Trust in the spudger, Paul. The problem is there's a lump in that solder that I just put down. Man, this is as bad as trying to squeeze out some flux sometimes. There we go. Chris, thank you. Sec 500. Okay, I gotta admit, I don't really know what that translates to, but I will check on xe.com and find out. Thank you. Thank you very much. Alright, throw this stuff into the bin because I don't want lead paste flying around on the workbench. Let's see, Soggy Brain Day. This sounds nasty. One thing I have found is when I'm doing these reballings with wet paste, I've really got to get down to about 20 litres per minute. Let's see. I'm just going to read the chat before I get into this. Why not hold down? Yeah, Rodrigo, normally I do hold down tweezers. Welcome to Australia. Nothing local. Yeah. Oh, where is Lewis? He's probably busy having a life. Swedish crown. So this is going to take a little while. Except, is that a hair? Yeah, that's a little hair. Yeah. Alright. Patience. What you ideally want to have happen is all these puddles of solder paste, you kind of want them to turn into what looks like, I suppose you Americans call them biscuits, I would call them scones, I don't know what the British would specifically say, but the Brits would call them scones too. Or maybe Welsh puddings. Basically, you want them to be hard, well, firm cores and not oozing out from the underside beneath the stencil. And then when they're in that sort of state, you should be able to get them to reflow into balls. If you try to do it before that, then all the bobbling and things like that just causes it to spread out on the underside of the stencil, and then you get a complete and utter disaster. Which we probably will get this time, because I'm being a little bit too late. We're already on the conversion process, so here we go. I'll just roll with it. At least nothing's bobbling out too much, except that one there. One thing you'll notice if you watch Lewis's streams is that when he goes through the conversion process into balls, the midpoints of his SMC conversion don't seem to convert over properly, and that's because he's got an aluminium holder, and the aluminium holder is pinching in on the SMC on the very sides there, and it's just draining away the heat, so it's not letting those side pieces actually get hot enough. I tried to tell him a squillion times, but anyway, once I get my jig done, I'll send him a copy of it, and he shouldn't have any more troubles. And looks like I missed a few bits of conversation. A little contribution towards programming the flexible and adaptations that help while troubleshooting boards. And dip the biscuits in tea, not coffee, tea. Yeah. Coffee is the devil's drink. Yeah, well, what can I say? I love it. Alright, now there was a ball that was bobbling up before, which means it hadn't attached to the pad. And it was probably the one pad that I had trouble with. We'll see. I'm just going to reflow these in the influence of the fresh flux. And hopefully we... Yeah, you want to jump out again. It's just this one ball here. Unfortunately it's in an awkward spot, so sit down, buddy. I don't really want to... There we go. It's got... I don't really want to have to try and manually place it in that sort of central location. Roland Lawrence, thank you, welcome. I will fair warn people who do come here from Lewis's stream that I am not really quite up to the same level of, how could you say, hyperactivity. Somewhat more sedate, slower. Alright. That looks good. Greetings from Canada, David Legault. Good old Canada. I don't care what people say, I like that country. Okay, these little pancake pieces you see here, that's where a bit of paste did slip in under the stencil, between the stencil and the SMC. I'm just going to get rid of those. But overall, that's looking pretty good. That ball looks a little like it's overcompensating for something. There is definitely some degree of unevenness here. I guess the question is, can we get away with it? James in Canada? That's good. Nice having Canadians here. I feel far more, how could you say, I feel I have far more in common with Canada than I do with the United States. Which is funny because as a kid, of course, like most kids, having watched Disney, I dreamt of going to America one day. But then I discovered Canada. I think this will do. Now if I had my jigs, that would have been over in about probably half the time. Alright, when I do get the equipment, I will be sure to let everybody know, and everybody can watch me fail on that. Speaking of which, people who deal with materials for routers, CNC machine, all that, what is... Someone can answer me, what is this substance? Now, as far as I know, this is something like synthetic rock. I don't believe it's fiber reinforced plastic, even though I've referred to it as fiber reinforced plastic. So I want to be able to obtain blocks of this stuff, and I want to be able to route it. But I haven't been able to find any sort of blanks for it. The best I can get at the moment is Bakelite. About 3mm thick Bakelite, which will do the trick, but I'd prefer this synthetic rock stuff. Who else hates the humidity in Australia? Well, I suppose it depends on where in Australia you are. Yeah, to the Simpson Desert there's not a lot. Delaron. Okay, well I know what Delaron is, but Bakelite can be toxic. It does have the formaldehyde base in it, but I don't think this... The trouble with Delaron is it won't take the heat. I mean, I know it can take a fair bit of heat, but it won't take this heat, I don't think, because remember, I'm going to be applying the hot air to it, so it's going to want to handle 350, 400. Belisario, I'm inland from Townsville. I mean, yeah, Townsville's humidity can be a little bit overwhelming at times, but overall it's okay. Yeah, that's aligned good enough. I can take a chance and flow that into place. Yeah, Melbourne may have dodgy weather, but at least it's got culture. Or I should rather say high culture, because Sydney's got culture too. Just a different kind of culture. Just like Tasmania's got culture. The sort that's generally not very legal. I'm just making fun of existing prejudices. Got way too much flux under that. Kind of worried it's going to float away. Yeah, dance yet or what? Ah, there you go. Ceramic epoxy, good for 450F. I'm going to need 400 C. Yeah, I need 400 centigrade, not... Well, this stuff is the iPhone board holder type stuff. Like, I put a soldering iron to it, nothing really happens to it, see? It's predominantly fiber something. So very, very, very low damage, and that's 400 centigrade on it right now. Nothing much happens. It's predominantly just fibre with some kind of holder binding agent in it. I would love to know what that stuff is, and I'd love to know how to get a few blanks of it. 10mm, half-inch thick, something like that. That'd be good. Okay, those balls, you can see there's a degree of unevenness in them, but that's okay. Nicholas Heidi. I'm only able to get a visa into Tasmania because I don't have a sister. Oh, that's harsh. Yes, yes. Someone knows what I'm talking about. That said, I'd actually moved to Tasmania. Alright, let's check to see if our short has gone now that our SMC is back on. Looks like glass-filled nylon. Yeah, it could be. Alright, we don't have a short anymore. I'm just not sure if the nylon would actually be up to that temperature. I guess I could find out, buy some and try it. But I would like to know what the substance is for sure. I've seen some places on AliExpress refer to it as synthetic rock. What that means, who knows? Because when I go and search for synthetic rock, I get nothing. Oh, I get benchtop stuff, which is definitely not what I'm after. Phenolatic laminate. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's that. And it's got to be something comparatively cheap because they sure use it a lot. Okay. What do we have to... Oh, this is a genuine MagSafe. Okay, so this will be fun. Oh, green light. Oh, we've got a fan spin. Oh, man. What a ripper. Oh, and it even works properly. Shuts down. Come on, come back up. Yes. Come on, come on, come on. Shut down one more time. Yes. And away we go. It should be blinking. It's blinking. We have a working MacBoard. I got a working MacBoard. I got a working MacBook. Stick this into chassis and see if it actually works. ZX, I did check for the short. Where were you? You on a P break or something and you missed that? Well, basically, if this works properly, that covers my costs, investment costs outright. Except I'm going to have to get another one of these. The heatsink is just way too bent. I've probably got a few from machines that have got dead PCHs. Okay, there's that one. Right, need to get some thermal compound. Where did I put my Colgate toothpaste? Heaps. Oh, thanks Mark. £2. Thank you. Appreciate it. I don't know why, but I like saying quid. Oh, someone answered to me this question once before. I'm watching IT Crowd. How much is a pony? I think a pony was like 20 or 50 quid. It was in relation to betting on football. Oh no, after what? Yeah, I did. I put on the SMC, I flipped it over, I checked my 3V42 and it was 0.27, and then I powered it up. I think he must have just been on a pee break. Material is called G10 glass fiber epoxy. Oh, thank you, Ken. Alright, I'll have a look up for that. Why no paste on the GPU die? Alright, Chris, were you referring to... No, where's that other board? Alright. Okay, so there's 2 dies on these modern modern CPUs. This one here is obviously the CPU, but this is actually the PCH. It's not the GPU side. And it just doesn't need die. And if you look at the heatsink itself, this one, funnily enough, doesn't have it. But Apple themselves only put compound on the CPU side. The PCH side does not get any compound, and in most cases it does not even touch. It's about a millimeter gap between that and the surface of the die. The first couple of times that I encountered that, I thought, look what they've done, they've stuffed up. But then I realized that it was actually by design. Maybe it's part of the big conspiracy to ensure that all MacBooks die. And, I mean, they want people's MacBooks to die, because otherwise, how are they going to compel them to buy the new cheese grater? Complete with $1,000 stands. Silver gold. Check. Okay, let me just. So 25 quid's a pony. Okay, cool. Good to know these things. WeMold Solutions. Oh, thanks for that. Thanks, Silver Gold. I'll have a look at that. What thermal paste was that? This is a very uninspiring, very boring for everybody. Arctic alumina. That's all I use. Arctic alumina for everything pretty much. For those cases where you have a large gap in the between the heatsink and the die, which often happens with some GPUs or MOSFETs, I use this thicker stuff, and you just cut that off. There's a few different thickness of this. I think this is about 0.8, and you get some really thick. This is about a 2mm one. So I just have a couple of random sheets of that, and you pick the one that's most appropriate for the task. Yeah, I don't think Apple's going to be able to live down that cheese grater association. I mean, they brought that on themselves. They should have just stuck with the old style. And those 1970s, 1980s looking kitchen legs on it. My goodness, they are terrible. There's no keyboard flex on this. I need a different chassis. I don't know who their designer was, but yeah, maybe they're trying to bring about a new look and feel, a bit like when they brought out Aqua. But at least when Aqua hit, everybody was like, wow, that looks, not everybody, but most people were like, wow, that looks actually pretty good, and everybody raced out to replicate it on other systems. I don't think they'll be doing that with the cheese grater design, unless they're intentionally trying to con people into buying something as a fake. I know the lighting sucks, I can't help it. It's just the way it is around here. It's just the way it is. Sucks as bad as my singing. Hey. Alright. Where's that cross member? Ah, good to see Pianov's still here. I need Pianov around. He corrects me when I'm wrong. And of course I taunt him by using C rather than C++. Don't worry, Pianov. My latest code I've come to appreciate and enjoy things like strings instead of like actual C++ strings. Mostly because I'm lazy, because it's easier just to go if A equals B rather than if string compare A, B, etc. What am I doing? Anyway, I'm getting there. I still do like my C though. Alright. Ubuntu stick. Hey Paul Lucas, thank you, good sir. Greatly appreciated. That will buy me a few cups of coffee, which I always like. Alright, here we go. Let's see if we have any luck. Sit back and wait. Pedro knows all about Tasmania too. If people wondering why people say that about Tasmania, it's because Tasmania is a tiny little place. Ah, there we go. Got my big mug in the way now. This does often take a while because it's coming off the Ubuntu stick. Is it booting though? It was booting before. What have I missed? Oh, there it goes. It's trying. Maybe I should get my Mac diagnostics disc. It seems like we just don't have a screen output. Oh no, it is going, it's just very dim. Let's turn off that light. Very dim. Taking too long, Ubuntu. Taking too long. Christian Iverson, I like both, but C# on the other hand, they dumbed it down too much. I haven't tried C#. Ah well, there we go. It's all good. Definitely got a win there. That's great. One MacBook board done. Only required an SMC. Hey. Shut down. Power off. Well, I suspect things like these 1466s are going to be popular for quite a while yet. So I'm just trying to stock up on spares. John Wick. If only I had half the skill that guy has in his pinky finger. I do like Keanu Reeves. I like the way he lives his life. Alright, this one can now pretty much go into the ultrasonic cleaner, which isn't on at the moment. Okay, that can sit up there. Okay, so what's the date? 20190608. Working. SMC. Put that on top of the ultrasonic cleaner. Alright, we've got this one. Now this is a more complicated one for the fact that it spins, but it does it wrong. How do you get hair like that? Well, after a few years you start balding up top here, so yeah, just a bit of time. Realistically, I guess it comes from my mother's side, so lucky me. Rodrigo, what was the fault with your 1466? And was it a 3437 or a 165? Yeah, this is another 3437. Is it? I just noticed there's no numbers on those 3V42 feeding resistors. It's a little unusual. But they don't look burnt. So normally this will be a 470 and that'll be a 100. But that's not really our issue today. It's just more a case of, for some reason, those parts didn't have the numbers on them. So I have a feeling this might be... Yeah, okay, I admit, I don't really know what's going on with this one. This is definitely the problem, and like I said, it is an Apple refurb one, so I could be very much wasting my time, but it seems like we've got a fair whack of corrosion around this section here. So I might just lift that, as it looks like it did get in under there a bit. How's eBay when it comes to buying spare components? The seller had a good rating, but it still scares me. Couldn't find the DC anywhere else. What were you looking for, Christian? Yeah, before I power this back up again, I'm going to lift that up and have a look. And come to think of it, now that I've just covered that leg, unfortunately, it did look like that had been etched away a bit. There, see, there must have been a fair whack of corrosion there. That leg is showing its copper. You can see the copper on that. So anyway, that hurt. That really hurt. Oh, that looks okay. Hello, Kilu Anil in Adelaide, eh? Whereabouts in Adelaide are you? I'm from Seacliff myself. So yeah, I'm a long way from my technically birth home. Adelaide Hills, Mount Barker. Oh, okay. It's a little further away from where I was. I have been up Adelaide Hills a fair few times. Yeah, family up there. Next time I get down there, I do want to go down to the Barossa though. Got to go chase Maggie Beer and say hello to her. So it's a shame Simon Bryant isn't there. At this point I don't even know what I'm working on in terms of parts. I am just simply attacking what looks dodgy to me. Oh, 3209. Okay. Oh, well, that was fortunate that you managed to get that one going. Yeah, this one's been junked up a little bit. I might replace that cap, and replace that resistor. Again, I'm not using brains here, I'm just going along for the ride. Oh wow, that's stuck down good. There we go. And you can come off too, and I've ruined the sticker for it. Let's get that sticker off before I completely kill it. Okay. This is my iPhone 7 home button removal tool. Does the treat very nicely. Be fair warned, you do still have to heat up the iPhone 7, 8 home button. You can't just try and slip that thing in. It will not accept that. Yeah. I'll go, Paul Dare. I do apologise, I actually didn't realise you were here, but thank you for participating. Sort of missed seeing you around. I hope everything's sort of going along acceptably well, all things considered. I hope you've got some mobility. Oh yeah, the 2011 1286s, they're everywhere. I suspect the price of those is going to go up pretty soon because of the modification daughter boards that have come out that are pretty good now from people like DOS Dude and oh crikey, I've forgotten the guy that sent me one too. But yeah, they take away a lot of the complexity of the process, and so now these MacBooks are going to start becoming quite in demand again. Oh man, that's a dreadful donor. I'm not using that. Even if it is for my own board. Actually, especially because it's my own board. What do they do to these boards? So they ran a dump truck over it or something. Ew. Wow. Ah. 165. Please be a 3437. You're a 3437. And damn, you're a mess too. $165. $165. You're killing me. What is with this end of the board that every board is just butchered? It's semi not butchered. That's completely butchered. It's about 10 3437 boards I've already checked, and they all look like something that, yeah. Ooh, this one will probably be good. Except it's probably 165. Bet you're 165. You're a goddamn 165. Do you have the same parts though? You do. Well, it's a 165. It's got the same parts, so I'll take it. Let's see. What are we reading here? 165 Air is the one to focus on. Yeah, the 165 and the 1398s are not too bad either, and the 1502s, of course, if you can get your hands on them. The trouble with the 1502 is that it's frequently parted out because the screen is worth so much. I am putting this in the right place, right? Yep. I think the best way to get your hands on a lot of the things like MacBook Airs and whatnot is just to get to know people who are around your area, and often what will happen is they'll upgrade or something like that, or something will go wrong with it, and for whatever reason they decide they don't want to actually get it fixed, and so it gives you an opportunity to then score, so to speak. Sometimes I can't work out whether it's my eyes or the camera that's out of focus. Yeah, Parcel, it's a new board. Previous one is working. It was just the SMC that was shorted, and we fixed that up, and it booted just dandy fine into Ubuntu. To be fair, that doesn't test things like the solid state drive, but at this point, we'll consider it a win for now. Still. Alright. Man, there's just so many ugly areas on this. What's difficult is I can't tell very well what degree of corrosion was there. I mean, this greying of the pad on that one side, if we look at that particular part on the board view, let's see, so that's 3D3S5. So that was chewing away for quite a bit to do that sort of damage. So it's quite possible maybe our ISL is taking a hike too. But then we are getting into an SO state of some kind. Wonder what that part's for. $540. What do you do? Current sense. Yeah. What is your... you are the op amp. Oh well, let's see if it's changed anything in terms of the way it boots. CPU VCore error is going to have a dead CPU. Shush now, Pianov. At least I checked to see if it had a dead PCH before I went too far. I was not happy the day I wasted a day on that. I had to put all my donor boards back. Tons and tons and tons of the 1466 boards. Because what usually happens is you end up either pulling the BIOS or the SMC off those, and everything else doesn't really get used. What did I do with my... Where did I put that? How's it over here? Here we go. We'll check CPU VCore on this one, if it misbehaves. Wow, we don't even fan spin anymore. Oh wait, we do. Gee, I just had to say it wasn't going to. And that down. Come on, come on. Up, up, up. No, just died quickly. Doesn't come back. Okay, let's go voltage, see what's going on. VCore? Nothing. Remind me to send Pilnov a very rude letter. Let's see. Let's check the resistance to ground as opposed to the diode mode to ground. 1 ohm. Oh, Pilnov, what do you reckon? 1 ohm? Oh. Oh yeah? That's not too bad. I think that's a dead one. It could be a short on the rails. It could be the controller. What do you think? Pilnov, what do you think? Dead CPU or dead rail generator? What would your course of action be? Do you want me to stick half a volt in? I'm kind of curious. We'll let Pernov decide how this one's going to be fixed, if at all. Let's take these inductors off. I should probably use it to just take the resistors off. Oh, it smells funny. Ah, fuck. I mean, whoops. I did not swear. Damn it. They are a tribute to certain people. Inductors are coming off first. Ha! I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. I would have gone for the current sense resistors, but the inductors decided they wanted to jump ship first, so they won. Man, it stinks. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. That's not good. That's no good at all. Yes, that's what it should be. 0.8. That's alright, Pernov. What's your next step? Sit back here and wait for the powerful diagnostic brain of Pernov to take effect and guide me in my next step. This is like I don't know what it's like. Whatever was on that board smells really bad. I need more air in here, to be honest. It's that bad. Oof. If you have hope, you could always inject voltage, but yeah. Well, let's inject voltage for the hell of it. I mean, why not? Ooh, what's the worst that's going to happen? Just to get the smell out of my nostrils. Safe start 20 volts. Sounds legit. Sounds like from the Bible of Pleasebro. I should do it. Oh, I hate it. I hate it when all my cables start tangling up. It may be repairable yet. Probably not, but let's see, voltage 0.7. That's a good starting point. I think we've got a CPU getting warm. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that CPU is getting warm. Could be there we go. You can see the start of it. Ow! The MagSafe was just shorting out on my leg. Well, it's not very spectacular, I'm afraid. Straight to 1.8. Thanks, Pernov. So this is what Pernov's so useful to have around, because he's a wealth of information. Useful information. Okay, 1.7. 1.7, and we've got 4 amps, so we should have 8 watts burning through here. Oh yeah, there she goes. That's pretty funky. Alright. The end. Well, we got a donor board, I guess. Guess you can't win them all, eh? At least we didn't waste a lot of time on that. I mean, tried a couple of little things and that was it. So I guess the question is, like, how did it get to that state? And I suppose something over here stuffed around, maybe the current I don't know. Anyway, it's dead. It's dead, Jim. It's isopropylene, IPA, propanol, whatever you want to call it. Dead. Okay. So at least it's a donor. I mean, I should have a decent SMC, BIOS, yeah, whatever else. Oh well, another one to add to the pile. Okay. Alright, what's the time now? Ooh, it's past midnight. Alright, okay. Time for me to wrap this up. So, I don't know how bad the audio sync is on this right now. Let's see. Let's try a sync test. And you guys can tell me how bad it is. Faisal, yeah, it's going to be a donor. Yep. Let's just move this over here. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. Bombazius, Tolajek vehicle firstly because you had spin but no boot. Oh, I didn't see that, sorry. I also get that though with I get that with the PCH HSIO switch. I also get that with uh, other issue, brain fading. Really? Oh, okay. All right then. Anyway, well, everything else on that board is going to be good. I do have one more board, but it's getting a bit late, and I've got other things I got to get done. This is the I think this is the memory reduced. This is 8 gig one for the Retina. So you can see there's nothing on that side of the board, but there is on that. So I don't know whether this one will work or not. I don't have a chassis for these ones, which is unfortunate. I would like to get my hands on some 1398s as well, and another spare chassis for these ones. I'll just have to dig around on eBay and try and outcompete you folk. Oh well. Anyway, look, thank you very much for dropping in. I appreciate you sticking around, and maybe not quite as entertaining as some people out there, but I do what I can. And thank you for the donations that came in. I really appreciate that. I always do. If any of you are after the Flex Board View software, just Google FlexBV and it will come up. And you'll also notice there's a new sign on the Flex Board View website, because I'm kind of getting sick of people buying the software without reading the conditions, of which one of them is there are no board views supplied with Flex Board View. It's meant to be a viewing program for the files you already have access to or are going to get. I know things like ZXW, EasyDraw, Foam Board come with board files, but I'm here in Australia, and the United States Australian Free Trade Agreement means that Apple can just simply grab me by the scruff of my neck and reef me over there and subject me to all the things they want to if I do anything at all like that. So it'd be nice to bundle, but I can't. So legal reasons, I just can't. So anyway, so if you're buying it, understand that you're not getting board views with it. Alright, I'm out of here. You'll take care, and I'll see you next time.